Hello, greetings, and welcome to our second mod of the month video for 2022. Just taking a look at the very best mods made for Morrowind each and every month. Obviously, we are still just a bit behind on this series, so today we are just once again opening a window to the past to gaze upon the vista of those illustrious mods from way back in February 2022. And it was just another record-breaking month in terms of historic mod releases, at least for February. 96 new mods were released during the year's shortest month, including just an absolute plethora of exciting gameplay mods, town overhauls, quest mods, and much more. The top three of which will, of course, be, taking a look at here today. As always, downlinks and timestamps are just right down below, so let's begin with our mod of the month for February 2022, which this time around is Wolverine Overhauled by GVALT. The largest town overhaul mod to be released in February, Wolverine Overhauled is actually a mod that's been in development for really, quite a long time. I seem to recall playing a beta version of this just way back in 2015 or 2016. But this is the first public release for Wolverine Overhauled, at least on English websites, and as the name implies, it's a complete transformation for the Imperial fort of Wolverine Hall in Sephumbra. Giving this once baffling, confusing maze of a fort just a completely new, more fort-like redesign. Or rather, I should say, a more castle-like design. For Wolverine Overhauled, it looks and feels just like a medieval castle, with tall, imposing battlements, turrets for archers, a drawbridge, and numerous other medieval defenses. Though devil knows how well those fortifications would actually hold up against the mage lords of the Telvanni. But regardless, this is just a simply breathtaking and verticality-inducing overhaul for Wolverine Hall, giving it a dramatic and epic visual appearance, a monument to the empire of stone and armaments that just stands in striking contrast to the root and mushroom towers of the Telvanni, that you can just, you can clearly see in the background here. While there can be just no question that the exterior provides for just a simply fantastic looking medieval imperial castle, this mod doesn't just overhaul the exterior. Oh no, it also expands and overhauls the interior, rebuilding the entire fort from scratch and adding in just a lot of details that were, quite frankly, missing from the vanilla game. For one thing, the original Wolverine Hall never really made a whole lot of sense. It was an Imperial fortification without really any of the amenities that such a fortification would normally house, like, a commanding officer, or barracks, or a kitchen, or an armory, or anything that would actually allow this fort to be used like, a fort. Outside of just an enclosure of walls. Honestly, in the vanilla game, it really seemed like Wolverine Hall was just, a place for Bethesda to stuff some Imperial guilds in Telvanni territory without it just being too contradictory to their lore. Like, it feels like, a convenient set dressing to have a Mages Guild, a Fighters Guild, and an Imperial cult in, part of the game world that is notoriously xenophobic. But that criticism aside though, that's obviously not the case with Wolverine Overhauled, which expands the fort with kitchens, an armory, an Imperial prison in the basement, a fancy office for the Imperial commander, and just a ton of other details, like a proper chapel for the Imperial cult, complete with pews, stained glass windows, and upper level walkways. These redesigned interiors just naturally have quite a bit of verticality, really enhancing that feeling of a medieval castle. And this usage of verticality is just especially noticeable in the Mages Guild, which now has a large open central hall with a stairway leading up to a second level and arch ceilings. Just a really beautiful redesign that again just appears fairly medieval in character. Outside of open, verticality-inducing spaces though, the Mages Guild also just now has stacks and stacks of books, scrolls, and magical trinkets, as well as various magical labs for just all sorts of magical properties, from enchanting to alchemy, and naturally there's also bedrooms for the mages, so no more homeless NPCs without a place to sleep. Compared to the cramped, tiny, and very gamey Mages Guild from the vanilla Wolverine Hall, there can be just no question that this is just a massive, massive improvement. And as you might expect, these improvements also extend to the Fighters Guild, with training areas, dining halls, suits of armor, racks of weapons, and the Guildmaster just, sitting back in his chair next to a roaring fire. Simply beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is certainly the most impressive and the most comprehensive overhaul ever made for Wolverine Hall, covering everything and just giving it a truly unique look and feel. All that, obviously, just, makes it the perfect pick for our Mod of the Month for February 2022. But anyway, moving on, our second pick for the Mod of the Month is the Camonna Tong by Caeris. By far and away just the largest quest mod to be released in February, and one of the largest quest mods released so far in 2022, the Camonna Tong allows you to, join the Camonna Tong, with an entire new quest line composed of some 40 new quests for you to go on, with just a ton of missions from a variety of Camonna Tong hangouts, like the Balmore Council Club, the No Name Club, and Grobble Garrett's Plantation. You can even eventually ascend to rule over the Camonna Tong yourself. As a nativist organization, the Camonna Tong aren't, typically prone to accepting Outlanders, but should you, prove yourself to them, you'll be warily just, admitted into their ranks, and this involves doing just a lot of dirty business, from blackmail to extortion, murder and theft, and, all that stuff. Spoiler alert, the Camonna Tong aren't, exactly nice guys. In any event, this mod actually starts out when you take a job to clear out a so-called bandit lair near Plesiad. As it turns out, that bandit lair actually belongs to the Camonna Tong, and after a failed assassination attempt on your life, they'll invite you to pay off your debt and do some dirty work for the organization, before finally admitting you into their ranks. And like most of Caeris' mods, this is a pretty lore-friendly quest mod that just, gives you a realistic path into the Camonna Tong as an Outlander. Not only that, but it is really well integrated and just interplays really nicely with some of the vanilla quests, like allowing you to play the other side of Larius Vero's little war against the Camonna Tong. With about 40 new quests and just lots of fleshed out details for the Camonna Tong, this is simply a masterful quest mod that truly gives this criminal enterprise a fair amount of depth. And with so much content, it'll keep you occupied for hours. And if you've ever wanted to join the dark side of the criminal world, it is, without question, one of the best mods for the Camonna Tong out there. Hence why it's our second pick for the Mod of the Month. But anyway, finally, our third pick for the Mod of the Month is Seph's NPC Soul Trapping by Sephumbra. And as the name of this mod implies, this simply allows you to soul trap NPCs with just a variety of MWSE configuration options. Now, if, for example, you want to roleplay as just, an evil necromancer, you can actually capture the souls of your opponents and use them for enchantments or just other vile ends. By default, you can only soul trap, NPCs in black soul gems, which this mod also adds with a 20% chance of a black soul gem appearing in loot instead of a grand soul gem. So, if you want to soul trap Fargoth and use him to enchant a blade called Fargoth's Agony, you can do that. Or if you want to soul trap Snowy Granius and use his soul to power a frost-based weapon of just some variety, you can do that too. With a number of configuration options, you can set how NPC souls are valued, either by level, attributes, or health. as well as set the chance for how often, black soul gems actually spawn, and whether or not the mod is even turned on. While just an arguably, simple change to the game, it is nonetheless just a rather useful one for those role-playing a more, sinister or evil character. And it's also quite useful as a resource, and in fact it is required by Necrocraft. In any event, all that just, makes it our third and final pick for the Mod of the Month. Though I will just quickly note for our OpenMW viewers that there is a OpenMW mod that does much the same thing called Black Soul Gems, released way back in 2018. For those who just, need an alternative. But anyway, that's just, that's our Mods of the Month, and as always, down links are just right down below. Real quick though, before we leave off, just allow me to thank our patrons, including Ascetic JMac, Area 5, /Symbolmean, Billy Fighter, Kiwi, Cyprinius, Danae, Daliant, Danina, Dennis418, Yame, Alcazo Castornau, Julian, Corridor, Langastier, Lord Brinny, Macbone, Melchior Dog, Moolord, Michael, Mr. the Joshman, Knock Cascade, Old Navy Twidget, Upper Jack, Porcuse, Poyuholo, Raven Talon, Arfuso, Rissaleaf, Shadowbear Schwein, Shooter, Sugarcat, Stiff Kitten, Talvani with 1,000 nicknames, Two-Timing Trauma Root, and Xero Fox. If you'd like to join them, check out our rewards, including early access, behind-the-scenes content, and access to polls to decide just what kind of content we showcase. Visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/MorrowindModding. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe, stay healthy, happy modding, and I'll see you all next time.